Hey gang, Ronin here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 10 Royal Navy Destroyer Daring. This is a standard battle, so there are no caps to contest. That's a pretty big deal, especially when there are CVs and a whole bunch of super ships in the game, on top of a little bit of radar and, well, plenty of challenge. Now, having said that, the Daring has always seemed like a ship that is, at least in capable hands, uh, almost overwhelmingly powerful and effective. It is a great ship, and I really enjoy playing the ship. I don't play it all that often because, if I'm being honest, ships that are, at least for me, that seem to be more powerful, I just don't have as much fun playing. And I'd much rather play ships that are difficult to do well in. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. It's, I'm not saying that that's good or bad or anything else. It's just what I enjoy. If I can do well with a ship that I consider kind of mediocre, I feel much better than if I do well in a ship that I consider to be superior in some way. So to me, Daring is a superior ship. And I just hadn't played it in a while, and I thought, I should just take it out and just knock some of the dust off. So that's what I did in this game. Now, why am I going where I'm going? Well, I'm going here because I may end up being spotted by aircraft and, before too much longer, even radar. I want to be someplace where I can hug an island really tight and maybe avoid taking damage. And at the same time, I want to try and get into a position where I might have an opportunity to get some torpedoes in the water that could hit something. Now, if you take a look, and we're going to do this real quickly, I'll explain to you why I got so close here. If you take a look at this blue circle, that is the extent of my torpedo range. Yeah, 10 kilometers, it's nothing. But if there was anything detected in here or in here that was heading this way, it's possible that they could land. Now, that's why I got so close. And it's okay that there's a Shima here. And why do I say that? Because I've got hydro, I've got heal, I've got smoke, and I really, really outgun the Shimakaze. The Shimakaze has, they're not terrible guns, but their turret traverse is really glacially slow, and the reload is slow. And I'm going to have lots of help. There's a fair number of people here that can put shells on that Shimakaze. So anyway, let's keep moving, and we'll see what happens. Now, I expect that we're probably going to see a lot of torpedoes coming my way. But you see, I didn't hit the hydro until now, because I want to get every last second out of it that I can. And now I'm invisible to him, and I can just continue to pour on the shots. And he's going to try and get around that corner there, which is fine. But he's dead, and I've detected all of his torpedoes, so all my friends behind me know exactly where they are and can maneuver accordingly. And how about that? Captain 49, Captain 49 even offered me thanks. That you don't see that very often, so kudos to you, Captain 49. That is much appreciated. Now, I took a little bit of damage there, but I've still got 3 heals, and the build that I run, if I take a little bit of damage, just makes my reload a little bit better. Look at the reload on those guns. It's really not bad at all. Just go dark again and start putting more shells in the air. What is it, 2.6 seconds on the reload? Yeah, that's not too bad. Now, granted, these are really, really small caliber shells, but the point of these shells is not necessarily to do a whole bunch of damage themselves. I'm just going to accelerate out of the way of these, but to start fires. And you can see I've already started one, and that's going to be the goal throughout. Just start fires. 54 shells on target. Well, a little bit more actually now, 58 total. And why do I throw those out there? Because by the time I get where I'm going here, they're going to be reloaded. And if there's something that's out there sneaking around, I want to try and catch it as it moves in. And all I'm doing here is trying to help my Hanover against this air attack. Now Daring does not have much in the way of AA, which I'm sure comes as no surprise. Most destroyers, now there are some really notable exceptions, like Holland, really tiers 8 through 10 in the Pan-European destroyer line can be pretty decent AA platforms, but they're still not. There's nothing like the old days when you could have a Mino set up for AA and just create a no-fly zone. Now this Annapolis, I think he's probably dead and just doesn't know it yet. He's pushed into essentially a crossfire between Thunderer, Hanover, and Hanover, and he doesn't really have a whole lot of room to go. He's gonna see he's showing broadside now to the Thunderer. Really dangerous. I'm gonna put a round on his side here as I get to the island. Now, I don't want to leave myself out there in the open, so I'll just get behind the island here, keep myself from getting blapped. Annapolis has the ability to put out a lot of shells in a very short period of time, so I want to avoid being the victim of that. And I'll just help. I mean, look at the damage that he took in making that turn and trying to fall back. That was crazy to push this early in the game. So currently, we're down in Austin, and the bad guys are down that Shimakaze, and it's still anybody's game. As I mentioned earlier, no caps to contest. I want to make sure I don't eat any of these skip bombs, but no, everything's good. And there's no real reason for me to just push into the middle of everything there. You can see that there's something smoking out there. That's a little intriguing. Maybe I throw torpedoes out there, so I'm thinking about that. And I really think I should probably head back to the mid. You can see there's a U-2501 that's now north of our submarine, and our submarine's facing off with a Sherman. And that may not end well. We'll see. So I think I'm going to push up here, get rid of some torpedoes into the smoke, or maybe just into the face of the Hanover. Although I think he's probably, if he's smart, going to continue to come to his port side and hide behind the island. We'll see. Musashi looks like he's trying to inch his way forward. Now, on this map, at least in my opinion, when there are no caps to contest, there's very little reason to push forward in those channels. You got a channel here, right? Got a channel here, got a channel here. If you push forward, you're almost always going to have multiple ships that'll just all focus fire. And in this case, got a fair number of ships with torpedoes that can just lie in wait. Now, our Hanover finishes off their U-2501, so that threat has been removed. So I don't have to worry about that. And Musashi has decided, kind of like that Hanover did, that he doesn't want to play anymore. So he's going to stop. Now, I've got a little bit of stretch between where he's at and where my gun range is, so I'm just going to take this opportunity and burn a smoke and try to get a fire or two started. We'll see. We are down 10 points. We've lost 2 ships. The bad guys have only lost 2 ships, but we lost a cruiser. And the bigger the ship, the more points it's worth. So having lost a cruiser and a destroyer is more expensive in terms of points than losing a destroyer and a submarine. And that explains the 10-point gap in our points there. There is a fire. Let's see if I can get another one. You can see these shells are very floaty. Almost 11 seconds for them to reach their target. And the smokes on these Royal Navy destroyers, they don't last that long. You get a whole bunch of them, which is kind of nice. You can see the Udaloy there. He's put some shells out on me. But I accelerated out ahead of those. I don't think I'm going to land anything there on the Udaloy. Okay, so we're 8.5 minutes in, 52,000 damage and counting, as long as that fire is burning. And I'm back in the center. Why? Because I want to support this submarine. Udaloy looked like he was heading this way. And a battleship or two look like they might be heading this way. And there's also the Annapolis. So I'm going to throw these torpedoes out there. Okay, so we got the radar from the Annapolis. And I'm going to stop this for just a sec. You're going to see that I'm not going to just turn and run this way. And why am I not going to do that? I want this guy to continue to be able to put shells on me. I'm going to angle to minimize the number of shells that I think he's going to be able to hit me with. But I want to draw him into this kill zone right here. If I just turn and run this way, maybe he stops. Oh, I can't hit that destroyer, so I'm going to stop here, and I'll look for another target. So I want to make him feel like, okay, now's my chance to take out the daring. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. And we'll see how it turns out. Yeah, a little bit of damage, but I think I'm going to catch him with a torpedo. And he's already hurt, so that's a pretty big deal. I've still got 3 heals, and I do land a torpedo. It did flood, and I think that guy's in big trouble. And I'm right now using the island for cover, but it's not going to matter. He's sunk. And I may get the opportunity to do that again. You can see the Hanover is crossing. I think he's coming a little bit slower, but if he decides to try the same maneuver, I might be able to catch him the same way. So we're 10 minutes in, 66,000 damage, managed to sink a ship, 149 shells on target. And usually, the longer you manage to stay relatively healthy and in the game in a daring, the more dangerous your ship's going to be. So as the game progresses, I'll probably have more and more opportunities just to smoke up in Dakka-Dakka and put a lot of shells on things and start some fires. That's usually how it goes. Now sometimes you get on one of those teams where you just get steamrolled. That happens. But all other things being equal, this is a pretty phenomenal ship. Okay, so we lose our Friedrich de Grosse. Immelman takes him out with torpedoes. Both teams now down 4 ships. And we are still down 10 points. Now Hanover is definitely coming this way. And you can see, I'm sure, I didn't mention it when it happened, that I got a torpedo rack destroyed, which, that kind of blows, but, you know, what are you going to do? Now, why did I smoke up here? Because there were aircraft overhead, and I did not want to just continue to take a pummeling from the Hanover. I wanted to be able to keep my A going, try and help the Iowa. But Hanover, he's just going to oblige me anyway. He's just going to continue to move forward. And I start a fire. I land a torpedo. And it's the Hanover Express. You know, for him, he's headed for the bottom. There's no way he's going to survive this. And these shells just pour out of the ship. I've still got 3 heals. Yeah, my smoke's gone, but so what? Okay, so there's another ship down, and we now have a lead. Bad guys are now down 6 ships. You can see I accelerated. I got out from underneath the shells coming from the Nevsky, and I want to keep my distance from him. Thunder is going to come around that corner, and he's got 3 choices. He can continue going in a straight line. Not a good idea with a destroyer right in front of you. He can turn out and toward the Nevsky, which would probably be the best bet. Or he can turn in. If he turns in, he's got a submarine right there waiting for him. So we'll probably see him turn out. And he probably won't turn out a lot. He'll want to keep as many guns as possible on Thunderer. I'm just guessing. So that's why I threw the torpedoes where I throw them. We'll see how it turns out. I'm going to try and avoid getting into radar range of the Nevsky, if at all possible, unless he takes a lot more damage. So you can see my torpedoes out there heading for the Thunderer. You can see the torpedoes from our submarine heading out there toward the Thunderer. And the Thunderer is feeling a disturbance in the force, and he is turning out more and more. Now, it's probably in large part due to the fact that our Hakuryu is attacking from that line. So Good guys take out the Sherman. Thank you, Grossovoy. And the Sherman takes out our Hanover. I'm going to go ahead and smoke up and see if I can't help finish off this Thunderer. Just got to land that torp. Oh, you talk about getting robbed. You could have dropped a fishing line over the side and hit that torpedo. That's all right. So Nevsky's down to 3,000 points. I am in radar range, but I'm going to go ahead and try and put some shells on the Nevsky and count on the Thunderer to help finish him off. And that's exactly what happens. And their Thunderer is going to get sunk here now. And this game is in the bag. We're 250 points ahead. And now I can just get close to something and shoot it. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I don't have to have too many threats, really. There's still an Udaloy out there, and it has good guns, and it's fast, but I have more help than it has. So right now, with 5 minutes and 36 seconds left to go, I've detected a ship. I've incapacitated 3 systems, put 203 shells on target, started 4 fires, shot down 9 aircraft, landed 2 torpedoes, each of which flooded, and managed to sink a cruiser. Not alone, mind you. I had plenty of help. And their CV is pushing around this way as their Nevsky has burned down our Thunderer. It took a little while, but now 5 ships to 3. Still a game that I consider in the bag. I'm going to try and turn out of the way of those rockets. Udaloy's out of my gun range. He's squaring off with the Grossovoy. And my target is going to be the Kearsarge, but I'm going to set myself up to be able to run straight at where I think their CV is going. And our submarine is just going to have a field day. You can see he's lighting up that Kearsarge. Just ping after ping, and I'm going to try and light fire after fire. So now we're up to 5 fires. Let's see if I can get a second one going, and if I do, then I'll start shooting at the very tail end of the ship. Somebody, there it is, there's another fire. Somebody did it. I'll just aim a little farther back. Looks like he's stopping and intends to move forward again. So I'll try and aim appropriately. There's fire number 6. Let's see if I can get one on the nose before he's able to maneuver out of the way. Well, I didn't get 7 fires, at least not in that exchange, as our U-2501 puts at least 1 torpedo into the side of the Kearsarge, who set their broadside after grounding into the island. And now it's, just basically a headlong rush with the Immelman as I try to get him sunk. And it probably is going to be up to me. Granted, our CV has aircraft that he can put on the target, but I'll just have to do what I can. It's German. It's fairly heavily armored. And what are these shells? 119s? I haven't looked at it in a long time. They're very small shells, so I'm going to have to get close to really do any damage. You can see that's an 18 non-pens. That number is just going to continue to climb until I get close. There's fire number 7. And I'll start firing more at the nose, try and do a little bit of damage. And that's going to be the game. I mean, the bad guys really never had a chance after about the 10-minute mark. If I can avoid getting sunk here by torpedoes. You can see I've switched to AP. I'm going to have to get really close for them to do anything, but that's what I'm doing. There we go. Just had to aim a little higher. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time.